let's go over number 3. Consider the integer list ADC from PA5. Write a C++ client function with the heading list replace L. So list replace list L int x int y. Oh, y. Okay, so it has, so L is equal to 3, 2, 9, 2, 5, 7, etc. And it says that this will return a list. So let's make an empty list. You can call it anything. I'm going to call it C. Also, I want to start off by saying that this is my understanding of this question, and there are many ways to go about this, and so this is my way of going about this question. So this is an empty list called C, and then we're going to move the cursor to the front of the L list. So I like to think of this as there's a front, or what I like to call head dummy, which is a dummy node, and it's connected to 3, and then that's connected to 2, connected to 9, etc. And then later on in the back, I like to call it tail dummy. So when we move it to the front, the cursor is pointing here. This head dummy has no value. It's not part of the list. So when our cursor is here, all we see in so the before would be 0, and the after, or I think it's next. Let me double check my implementation. So, this one's after, sorry. And I'm talking about like inserting, so this would be after. And after would have the value 3. So that's how I like to see this doubly linked list. Okay, so now that it's pointing there, we can go into a while loop. So while the list.position, aka the cursor, which is at 0 right now, is less than the length of the entire list, we're going to do this. So let's get the value 3. Let's put it into an integer variable. We'll call it z. And to get it, we're going to do l.move next. L.move next is going to move this cursor over to here, and it's going to give me that 3 value. So we're storing that in z. So now we can check if the value that we just got from our list is equal to this x value. Because in the problem, it wants us to replace the value x with y if we ever see it in the list. So now we can go if z is equal to x. We can do c dot insert after y, because we want to, remember, we want to change that value to y. And let me draw out our C for you. Right now, our C, before we have inserted it, it's an empty list. We have the head dummy and nothing, absolutely nothing. So, and I think the cursor is pointing here automatically when we create a new list. And so the reason why, and so when we do insert after, because remember right now the before is nothing. It's the head dummy. And the after, it's nothing. There's nothing in here. No, nothing. So when we insert after that value, this now becomes, well, let me double check. So if x is equal to 2 and y equals to 1, so this would become 3. If, well, okay. Let's imagine this is here and that's the 2. So we want to replace every 2 with a 1. I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Either way, I think you guys understand what I'm doing. Actually, yeah. Okay, let's continue. So if that is that, do that. Else, if it's not the number we're looking for in the list change, we just do C dot insert after. And we can do Z, which was the value that we got from the list with over here. So, okay, now we can go back to this and I can explain it. So if it's not the number we're looking for, so we're working with this number first, which is 3, and x, this is equal to 2, and this is equal to 1. So 3 is not the number that we want to change. So it doesn't go here, and then it goes in here, and it inserts 3. Now keep in mind whenever we do inserts, the cursor stays where it is. So we have to, after doing all of this, sorry, give me a moment. After doing all of this, we have to make sure that we move the cursor over. So after we've ran this, the cursor is going to move over to this. So now the before is 3. And that's all we really need in the while loop. So if we were to run this, now we're going to go back into this line, int z, and this cursor is no longer pointing here. It's going to point here now. And it's going to return that 2. So z is equal to 2. So is z equal to x? It is. So now we're going to insert it into our C list. Let me delete this as well. So it's 2. Oh, sorry, we change it to a 1 because we're inserting the y. And then it goes all the way down to here. And then we move next. Move this cursor over to here. And it just keeps repeating and repeating until we're done. And then we have to make sure that at the bottom of the question, it says that the returned list will have its cursor placed at its back. So we want to make sure that we do this c.move back. We want to move the cursor all the way to the back when we're done putting values into it, and then we want to do return C, and this is problem number 3.